Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. I started a topic a couple of days ago here called, the reality of being married to a beautiful woman. I didn't want to have it take a whole lot of time, so I decided to split it into two parts. And so a couple of days ago was part one, and part two will be today. So I'll be getting started pretty quickly. um, this isn't really a personal update or anything like that. So what I'd like to think about doing from now on is do the live stream with a topic like I would do just as a regular upload. And if anybody is there and was notified and has some time, they can leave a comment, and I can go back to the comments after I say my piece, which is the topic, and then the topic will be at the start, and any other kind of chatter or comments, I can respond to any comments can be after that. So the reality of being married to a beautiful woman, part two. It's 7:31 on Thursday. Seems like Friday. So not sure how I'll be doing these videos and uploads, but I do want to just keep kind of staying in touch and giving people a chance to communicate here. Now, the first part, which I said a couple days ago, I talked about what others may think is a factor when you have a often younger, beautiful Filipino wife. You have to learn to deal with what others around you think. Could be friends, could be family, could be people at church. You have to deal with what you think. You can't go into a relationship like this and be um, not sure that you're doing the right thing. um, People will try to tell you that you've done the wrong thing. They may try to tell your wife that you've done the wrong thing. So you have to know how to respond to those things. You should be aware of what God thinks. Personally, I knew of no rules or instructions or regulations for getting married. So, I married my wife very quickly. She's a lot younger. We got married in 54 days, less than 8 weeks, from the other side of the world, and started a YouTube channel. Not to follow our lives, because neither one of us cares about making that known to anyone. I don't think it's very important, very interesting. The theme of this channel is to help other guys who had been alone a long time, like I was, go out, get married, live the best life, which is to have a wife. And I just happen to have a younger one from way far away, almost 10,000 miles. And we've been married over 6 years. For getting married so quickly, we're doing well. So what is it like? Well, basically, it's a wonderful experience to have a younger, beautiful wife, but they have to be beautiful on the inside for that. So aesthetically, on the outside, it's wonderful. But younger Filipina is a woman like anybody else, so you need to know um, how to navigate that relationship. Parabiology 101. Good to see you here tonight, Parabiology. I'm going to try to race through part two here. And so then if anybody wants to watch the content that's at the start, and then want to chat about this or anything else, we can do that as soon as I am finished. So the part two, the reality of being married to a beautiful woman. Let me know agree or disagree with this. I'm going through a song from Dr. Hook, and I think it's the Medicine Show. He had a few hits. This was way back in the 70s. I still remember it. And the song is When You're in Love with a Beautiful Woman. So there's a lot of truth to it. So I'm taking some lines and then applying, my experience with that. One of the lines in the song is everybody loves her, wants wants to take your baby home. Is that true? Well, so what? So what if that's true? It makes no difference. It wouldn't matter to me if the opposite was true. No one loved her, no one wanted her, and no one wanted to take her home. I would feel the same way about my wife if she was my age and in a wheelchair. I know the point of the lyric is that she has universal appeal, right? I'm just saying that it doesn't matter to me what others think about her appeal. They aren't going to be taking her home. I'm not worried about that. People can act however they want, but the mere likelihood of being, um, in the spotlight, so to speak, by having a pretty Filipino wife doesn't leave me feeling threatened or that I have to be on my guard all the time, like the song seems to suggest. People at work have seen us, people at church have seen us, people out there all over the place see us together. I don't think it's a big deal. When my wife immigrated to America, I made sure I introduced her to family, friends, and significant people in my life, like doctors, or a very important financial advisor, attorney, pastor, and I'm sure many others. If a man is uncomfortable with having a younger wife in any area, from any area, he should really think about why. Most of us do want a wife that we consider attractive, of course, but is there a point where she could be too attractive? Normally, this doesn't even become an issue, but with Filipina options, yes, she can be drop dead gorgeous. Another line says, "You watch your friends. It never ends." This song was likely made with your friends being the same age as your beautiful wife, but often with a foreigner and Filipina, the concern, if the guy has one, is younger men who are closer to her age. You probably don't have male friends who are a lot younger, so the main concern is younger guys may not know that you are married or care to know that you are married. Your wife will be out in public and encounter young guys, of course. If you're wondering if I have ever had a conversation with my wife about what to expect here in America, about her having a husband who is older than she is by 27 years, the answer is no. My wife is not ignorant or naive. I assumed she would be familiar with this dynamic. Recently, I asked her if any guys had been hitting on her. And I was serious, showing her interest. And she said that they had not been. She said nobody's been, picking on her or anything like that, trying to, get together with her. I'm sure everybody knows she's married, and I would hope that the time anybody, tries to get fresh with her, that she will tell me so I can find out where they live. Now, she probably doesn't wear her ring at work due to working in a manufacturing area. They can't even do that unless they tape it up. And I prefer that she not do that because that's probably not good for the ring. Both of us wear our rings on our right hands. I have a video about why that is. So it's possible guys might not notice she is married because the ring is on the other hand. But she told me no one has tried to interfere with us. She has mentioned when guys have stared at her, and I notice it myself. Even someone younger than she is by far will still see her as attractive because she is. I married her fully realizing that we would be an anomaly back here in the United States, where only about 1% of marriages have an age gap where ours is. And of course, that's usually accompanied with an attractive wife. If there ends up being issues from outside our marriage, I certainly can't pin that on my wife. Another line or lyric is, "You want to trust her." I would hope that a man would trust his wife when he is bringing her to his country. I trust my wife, and I also trust that I am doing all I can to be the type of husband that she believes is the best for her. Another lyric, maybe it's just an ego problem. Fair weather friends. People are going to be jealous, right? That's only natural. If you have a younger and attractive wife, the fact that we are married probably is more of a deterrent to others than if we were not married. Another line, you look for lies. Everybody tempts her. Everybody tells her she's the most beautiful woman they know from that song. My advice to such men would be to look for their own beautiful woman. I am in love with a beautiful woman, and my marriage is satisfying, fulfilling me because of two things. One is what I put into it, and two is I have a quality wife. Our marriage isn't good because I like the way she looks. Having an attractive wife is a nice bonus, especially when she is younger and likely to be attractive for a long time. Even if I live long enough to see what she looks like when she is older, it won't change the way I feel about her. I will be starstruck by all the ways she has been good to me over the years. Those of you who married um, a beautiful Filipina know that her good looks don't prevent arguments or disagreements. It always comes down to her inner beauty. So you want to look for a woman with character. It's very nice looking at her beautiful, long, silky black hair, light brown skin, beautiful face and smile, smooth, soft skin. I love it. But it's debatable how much it helps day to day in a marriage, the working out of it all. Having a beautiful wife won't erase any personality and cultural differences between the two of you. I regularly tell my wife that she is beautiful and exactly in what ways, physically as well as in other ways. They're all the same to me, they're good qualities. I think a woman's beauty is to make it easier for her when she is younger to be able to attract a husband, someone serious about her. Did I open a can of worms? I hope not. It seems basic to me. Men usually pursue a woman they feel is attractive to them, and studies have shown that regardless of how old a man gets, he is still attracted to women who are about 22, 23 years old. We are enamored with beauty, but don't normally get a second chance, if you will, to marry a younger and beautiful woman. If you're in a position to marry a younger and beautiful woman, here are some more things to think about. Fear factor. There are men who are a little fearful of actually marrying a younger Filipina and bringing her to his country, where they will stick out like a sore thumb. Then he has nothing. Well, I think if he marries this woman for the right reasons, then he's not going to have anything to be concerned about. He's not going to have these fears. This would be someone that's not sure of doing it, or he's doing it because he saw other YouTube vloggers do it. But he's never comfortable, and that's always going to be a bad sign. Here are the right reasons. That would be like that he, the foreigner marrying a younger Filipina, wants to meet her basic needs, and he is committed to all of the needs of his wife. He didn't marry this younger woman to show off to his friends. He simply recognized he had a need for a wife, and he was going to avail himself of as many options as he could. Now, you don't have to go look for a Filipino wife and get married in 54 days, although you probably could, but I'm not recommending that. But the women there want to get married, and if you're serious about that, you can get married too. Think about visibility. Visibility is what people see. Of course, this guy wants people to see them together, he and his wife, Filipino attractive wife. But if there is a reluctance to be seen in public for fear of people talking somehow, I think that will end up affecting their relationship. You can't be afraid to be seen together in public or holding hands or whatever. It may be that the Filipina is a little reluctant to be seen in public in his country as opposed to the Philippines, where it is more conventional. I should do some people watching next time I'm in the Philippines to observe how a couple with an age gap are viewed from outsiders. Another concern is gossip. Gossip is what people are saying about you. You may not even know it. Excuse me. Bringing a younger Filipina to the United States, for example, will result in a lot of behind the back talk and a certain amount of speculation, maybe judgment. If this is too disconcerting for someone, then he won't be able to enjoy his relationship with a younger, pretty wife. He has to accept there's going to be gossip. Some people may just tell you to your face. They might be family. People are going to say what they think, but what they think may not be true. Here are the kinds of thoughts outsiders probably do have. For example, well, she's only with him for his money. What is their sex life like? I wonder. What if they end up having children? Could he lose her to a younger man? Does he really love her? Is he a loser who just can't get anyone his own age? Why a poor woman? He only loves her for her body. Things like that. And don't be defensive. Don't be apologetic either. Being married to a beautiful Filipina attracts attention at first because it is a novelty here in the States. I'd like to think you wouldn't let this affect your relationship, but you should know that yes, people will talk, although probably not to your face. At the end of the day, what matters is the kind of husband you want to be and the kind of woman you married. I will link an earlier video I have called Shame on You for Wanting a Younger Wife in the description box, because if you want to pursue a woman out of your league, you will first need to come to terms with it in your own mind. You need to be secure in your motives. And you don't owe a detractor an explanation. There's no need to get into confrontation. So don't act insecure. It isn't likely anyone will get into a debate with you about your relationship. I certainly haven't had to justify my choice of a wife with anyone face to face. There was one time in the comments section of a video I made where I was taken to task by a younger woman, and I chose to reply to her allegations in a calm, respectful, matter of fact way. After about 10 replies to her, she tempered her remarks, then deleted them. I merely let her know that I married my wife for her good and that the choice was ours. I would hate to marry her, but then give off the vibe to her that I am somehow uncomfortable or ashamed that I pursued her. I eventually did want a younger wife, but that's not the reason I married her. I married her because she seemed like a woman who would work well with me, be compatible with me in life. We would sure do our best to see that happen. You'd literally have the choice of the litter, so to speak, in the Philippines. Filipinas are incredibly good looking, very alluring, but you'll want one with character. Isa is very beautiful to me, and I only have eyes for her. That's from another song. From the looks of things, I made the right decision to find love beyond the sea. Maybe some of you have as well. Uh, Phil's to Phoenix is here. You either going to be late for a live stream or I started just in time. I think that could be. So, John, good to see you here tonight. Maayan Boontag here. It's Magandang Gabi. Parabiology says very important to be beautiful on the inside as well as outside. We see women that are beautiful everywhere we go. I don't care if it's the grocery store, across the street, certainly the gym. Um, if you're putting gas in your car, it really doesn't matter. Just going to the lake for a walk, you're going to see attractive women everywhere. And that's the first thing we think of if we're honest with ourselves. She's so attractive, she's so sexy, I want to marry her and everything's going to be fine, because what could possibly go wrong, judging by how she looks? I mean, I'm subject to that too, and I know it doesn't make any sense, but that's what we are as guys. We're very, very weak when it comes to being around women, but it's the thing that's going to make that relationship make you happy to be married is her character, and that's how she is on the inside. um, Parabiology says my friend's girlfriend, who I've never met, called me a misogynist for marrying a younger woman, and because I told him to make sure and get a DNA test for his pregnant 40-year-old girlfriend. Well, I mean, dissent, disagreement can come in all kinds of forms and ways, and um, we just have. That's why we have to be sure. I mean, you can't have somebody criticize your relationship, especially if they don't even know you at all or very well, and then start doubting yourself, thinking, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I should have. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I need to, you know, check my motives. And Well, that's generally a good idea. But if you're going to be this far into a relationship with somebody, and you don't have to be aware when you initiate the relationship that there's going to be a lot of criticism eventually, but you do have to be prepared for it so you're not really overly sensitive to it. Look at it as well, from the guys will be secretly jealous of you. I'm pretty sure about that. Thank you for the thumbs up. Um, but people will be jealous. Women will be judgmental. The only way to prove it to them, and you don't have to do that, is for them to see you in public and see and get to know how you really do feel about each other and how you interact with each other. Rodney Full Circle is has come full circle, and here he is tonight. Rodney, good to see you tonight, Thursday night. Um, I was hoping when I announced this, like I thought I did. Thank you for the thumbs up. 2 hours before that started, probably nobody could see it. So I'm either have to do a video to make a video, or an announcement, or I'm gonna have to. Well, I don't know what else I would do. I just have to make a video. I can't get a post because I don't have 1,000 subs yet, or I try to do a better job of alerting people to it. Sometimes I'm not sure it makes any difference, so I'm just trying different things. So good to see you, Rodney. Hope everything is well with you. Um, Rodney says, I no longer consider negative opinions concerning my age gap relationship I have with my fiance. So are you saying that there was a time, Rodney, when I don't know, it made you stop and think, or you know, what do you mean there? Did you used to consider these opinions? And the opinions are one thing. I mean, it's just that if they say, well, you're just too old, or I mean, if they can say there's some practical things you have to look at in the future. That's different than saying, basically you seem like a dirty old man. You have no business looking for a woman that age. Those are two different types of disagreements. Cindy has been called my daughter several times because of the age gap, and I don't know, how did the person that said that react, John, when you were done with that? Um, I always told my wife, if anybody asks how old I am, to tell her I'm 10 years older than I really am, and that she's 10 years younger than she really is, just to see what they say. Going to be fun to see reactions after Pumpkin is born. Well, if you're in the Philippines, and I hope all is well with the baby, John and Cindy, if you're in the Philippines, I would assume there's not going to be too much to look at. But if you're in America, you know, I still think, I mean, deep down inside, you want to prove to people, look, I'm not, doing what you're thinking I'm doing. Um, but the only way you can really do that, and you don't owe it to them, is just develop the reputation with your friends and family, and people close to you in your life that you have to do business with, that you love your wife, and the two of you look perfectly normal together. By look, I mean the way that you interact with each other. And over time, they'll know. I mean, people know how I feel about my wife, because I always tell them. Then I go out and I prove it. And then she can say, yes, my husband is crazy about me. Well, that's because I am crazy about her. Um, oh, John says here, it's not going to be a deal at all. Going back to Arizona will be interesting. Unless, of course, you live around a lot of people that are in similar relationships, but I don't know how common that is. I mean, some states have more Filipinos and Filipinas, and probably Westerners and Filipinas than do other states. Rodney says, yes, there was a time I was really worried about what others thought about my relationship, especially the opinions who assigned me a bad character because I was pursuing a 20 plus year younger girl. Well, at the end of the day, that's just something they have to live with. I know from work, I don't know, I wasn't told who it was, but I was told not whatever this means. Oh, there are some people unhappy that you went out and married her. Unhappy? I'm not trying to make them unhappy. I'm out there looking for a wife. And I remember when I did get married, I sent some Viber pictures out the day of the wedding, and somebody was nice enough, a friend of mine, to take some of those photos and pin them up on the door that's outside the office area, just so they can see that yes, I wasn't fooling. I did go to the Philippines and I did go to get married, and I did get married. I think some people were shocked by it, um, but you know, I don't know. I'm not going to go out looking for people to pop because they think I did a bad thing. I mean, look, they would have done the same thing too if they had thought about it, but they didn't. Yeah, John says, I generally have fun with it when it happens. It's showing their issues, not ours. Um, it's just a funny thing. Unless you're overly sensitive, I don't think it's something that needs to bother you. What it's like. You know, a younger woman usually considered beautiful woman, and you're older Westerner, and people expect you to be married to somebody else, and of course they're going to talk about it. It's interesting. It's good water cooler talk, so to speak, or neighborhood gossip or whatever. Um, but in time, people are just going to forget about it. I mean, they might be thinking in the back of their mind, well, congratulations to that guy for going out and doing, what I wish I could do. Um, I know people have told me, a couple guys said, you know, I was almost did what you did. One guy said one time, but he got cold feet, and somebody else may have relayed a similar story. So that, that can happen. And thanks, John. Good luck with your live stream tonight. Um, so it's not been. I do think there's one case of extreme jealousy. I can't exactly prove it because, well, I think they're avoiding me, and so I think it's pretty clear they're avoiding me because it rubs them the wrong way. I mean, I don't think they're necessarily unhappy with me, just probably very, very jealous. Um, and I mean, it's important because you don't want to be, like I said earlier, ashamed of her, and you don't want to go out with her. You're going to have to go places, go on vacations, go to the grocery store, go, hit some small towns, movies, whatever, go shopping. You can't be afraid to be seen with her, um, because you wouldn't want to be ashamed with a different wife, would you? No. So, yeah, what others think is going to be something you need to consider, that you can handle it without being defensive, know why you're doing what you're doing, so you don't have anything to be defensive about. And these relationships can work as they continue to all over the world. So, John is off to a live stream. Rodney, good to see you here today. Parabiology. Um, I'm going to be heading out now unless somebody has a comment you'd like to make or anything you want to talk about. I don't know any more than anybody else when it comes to when the Philippines is going to open. Um, it seems like there's just no real new news out there, or any little piece of new information people are making videos on, but nothing really big has changed. And This is September. I think our travel agent said to get back to her in mid-October, because before we decide what we're going to do, because the hard thing is going to be to get that domestic flight. There's just not that many domestic flights these days, and something over Christmas is going to involve most of those seats getting taken up. So we might be able to go technically even without a quarantine, which is what we're waiting for, but then not be able to make the right domestic flights due to just not having any left. So there will come a point in time, mid October, we'll start looking at that. Probably by early November, we'll have to decide if we're going to go to the Philippines in December of this year or wait again till 2022. So, guys, that's my topic today. Finishing the series about the reality of being married to a beautiful woman. Hope people will watch and leave comments on the upload version. But until the next video or live stream, this is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea.